Have you ever thought about what it would be like to be inside your favorite game? Imagine escaping from giant dinosaurs, feeding your pets, or fighting against massive lizards and aggressive monsters without having to travel through time. That's why the other day I got myself a pair of virtual reality glasses, allowing me to enter the world of Ark Survival and create my own Jurassic Park. The first day I went to a station where I had to catch a subway that could take me to the park. I was carrying basic tools such as a pickage, gloves, and a pistol. And since the subway was about to leave and I was hungry, I grabbed some Doritos from a vending machine, got on the train, the doors closed, and we started moving. The first thing I saw were some Ichthyornis soaring through the skies, and suddenly a damn giant Mosasaurus emerged from the depths, almost landing on top of me with an incredible acrobatic move. But for some reason, the other visitors were abandoning the park. I made it to the control center, where I played dodgeball with the skeleton of a T-Rex, analyzed the map and enclosures, and started fiddling with the devices there. A tiny holographic T-Rex bit my finger, I pulled off some amazing tricks with a turtle, and I sadly annoyed a very cute Spino. I even held a T-Rex baby in my arms, but when I dropped it, it turned into a massive lizard. And of course, I also fed a friendly looking holographic Parasaur. Shortly after, I arrived at the entrance of the enclosure where I had been hired as a dinosaur poop cleaner. But apparently no one was inside, just me and my shooting range dummies, which I shot like a schizophrenic. I also discovered some kind of supercomputer where I could craft items and use it as a storage. Inside there was a trike egg, but since I wasn't familiar with the buttons, I accidentally incinerated in a digital trash can. Luckily, none of the bosses were there to fire me for such huge mistake. Since I was in the mood to explore, I decided to head toward the swamp to gather some resources. There I saw a pteranodon, a giant araneo hiding in a log, and a weird little bag that fell when I pulled on a branch. It turned out to be a damn beetle. There was also a small frog that I kissed before throwing it away, and a petrified Sarcosuchus that I tried to wake up by throwing a frog at it, but it didn't work. Then some beavers show up trying to charge me rent for being in their home, so I had to challenge them to a bare knuckle fight and stole some resources like fiber, berries, and a few expensive looking crystals that I mined with my tools. After trying to catch fish with my bare hands, I started analyzing the creatures to earn intelligence points, which I could later use to learn engrams and craft things like a torch, a hatchet, and many weapons. And as I wanted to craft a hatchet but I didn't have enough resources, I had to travel to the redwood to farm. I grabbed bushes, chopped a tree, and broke some rocks. And then I had to ride in a jeep with a clueless robot that had no idea how to drive. We saw a lot of new dinos living happily. We almost ran over a little lizard, and we were pretty close to death because a giant massive Giganotosaurus started chasing us. All because of this shitty robot that had no idea how to drive. Upon returning to base, I learned the PKH engram, crafted the hatchet, and prepared for my next expedition to the mountains. The first thing I saw there was a little monkey that reminded me of my little friend Georgie. I tickled him until he pulled himself, then checked the map to see which dinos I could find in this area. I chopped down a tree, crossed a bridge where some monkeys tried to rob me, saw a roll rat, and collected some metal. I even also saw Kong's brothers fighting over the TV remote, and in addition I found several onyx, a sharp big pteranodon, and I was nearly run over by a Doedicurus while admiring the views. There was even a damn fat bat Argentavis. Back at the base, I crafted a metal pickage to gather even more resources, and when I went to check on a malfunctioning beacon, the wild dinosaurs came to attack me. I had to take down a group of giant compies, schizophrenic roll rats, hyperactive gallimimus, and some thick-head Pachycephalosaurus. Then the Carnos and Araneos appeared, but they weren't much of a problem. Suddenly, the Megapithecus arrived and started throwing rocks at the beacon until he completely destroyed it. Now I understood why the other workers had abandoned the park. The dinosaurs had become aggressive because the beacons were emitting the ground frequencies. So to stop them, I came up with the idea of upgrading my weaponry and trying to craft another pistol to take them down. Since I didn't have enough points, I needed to explore. I could only craft a machete to deal with anything that got too close. I chopped down a few more trees, enjoyed some beautiful views, greeted the pteranodons, and suddenly I was almost smacked by Bible salesmen. Luckily, I managed to escape into the T-Rex forest where I encountered the most powerful being in the universe. A dodo. In the distance, on the top of a log, a Gallimimus was running away from a raptor, and a gigantic pig appeared after I knocked a berry off a tree. Then a Dilophosaurus showed up and they started fighting until a teenage T-Rex arrived to break it up. I stood still, like a cactus. Unluckily, the giant lizard ignored me and went deeper into the forest. I returned to the base to craft a pistol so I could play Call of Duty with the wild dinos, and I traveled to the battle arena where the monkey was still waiting for me. I had to shoot him with one pistol while using the other to break the rocks he threw at me. Apparently, the guy got super mad and jumped down to punch me hard and smash the beacon, but just before he could destroy it, I managed to take him down and knock him out. Feeling hyped, I decided to blow out some rabid Dilophosaurus, Dimetrodons, ex-convict chickens with knives in their hands, and Parasaur horned trumpeters trying to destroy the beacon. But that wasn't all. A giant scorpion also appeared, and every time I defeated it, it split into smaller and smaller scorpions. I managed to disintegrate that pest, save the beacon again, and earn some intelligence points to build a freaking awesome assault rifle, which I used to patrol that night. I dealt with a few raptors, aberrant ankylos, crested spinosauruses, and a completely insane and gigantic rex that wanted to eat that piece of junk emitting the wrong frequencies. But I managed to save it again by defeating the lizard and avoiding being crushed. Back at the base, I crafted an explosive ball and tested it on my shooting dummies. I also incubated a Stegosaurus egg I had obtained during one of my battles, and I left it in the incubator while I went off to make a shotgun and test it at the shooting range. I also traveled to the mountains where I found an abandoned hot air balloon. I climbed in, pulled the ring, and the hot air started lifting us up. From the sky, I saw a glowing Diplodocus, a schizophrenic plesiosaur that came to greet me, some seagulls begging for food, and I was almost mulked by some pteranodons with knives. Upon landing, I got a close look at a baby Paki with a gigantic forehead and a baby Carbonemis whose shell was pretty spiky. I also went up some stairs and saw a baby Terry that looked like it would make some great roasted wings, and a Megaloceros that I wanted to greet, but it got scared and ran away. Then I saw an elevator that I had to take to reach the top. I pressed the switch, and for some reason the lift was stuck. Just my luck, an Allosaurus appeared and smashed it with a massive headbutt, bending the railing, but luckily I managed to save myself. I got scared by a giant Araneot that jumped on me while I was being chased by the monkey that had pulled itself from the tickles, and as I enjoyed the views, I started drafting a lawsuit against the park for their shitty safety measures. At the summit, I saw a gigantic quetzal to which someone had thrown a little Lizardosaurus into its nest. It got pissed off and left its chicks unattended. The Lizardosaurus survived, and I took the opportunity to climb down to the nest and steal some eggs to make an omelette. And then, while I was enjoying a piece of fresh meat, a giant mosquito came to try and steal it, and since it had already slobbered all over it, I just gave it to the bug. Back at the camp, it was time to check if the Stegosaurus egg we had put in the incubator had hatched. Fortunately, it had already hatched and was secure inside a pretty safe enclosure, which I wanted to open to see it closely. I told it to walk toward me, but it was moving too slowly, so I had to threaten it with my assault rifle. I gave it a quick wash, removed a few fleas, and took it for a walk around the camp, so it wouldn't feel overwhelmed. Then I got another alert about the beacon having issues. This time, I took both my rifle and my shotgun. I had to face several rabid raptors, ankylosauruses with anger management issues, strikes with psychological pregnancies, and the family of stegos I had stolen the egg from. And just when I thought it was all over, Parasaurus came from all directions, along with a complete schizophrenic Carnotaurus that, instead of going for the beacon, came straight for me. After dodging it and trying to hit its weak flank, I managed to take it down with shotgun blasts. I saved the beacon and got a raptor egg, which I took back to the camp and put in the incubator to breed a companion for my Stegosaurus, which was feeling very lonely and also hungry. So I decided to grab some berries I had collected to feed it. I opened its enclosure, it walked toward me, and when I gave it the berry, it really grew a lot. I stayed a bit longer feeding it and even accidentally shot it in the ankle. I also went to gather some crystal in a beautiful aberrant zone where a glowing Parasaur approached me, and I was literally feeling like I was in Pandora. I collected some more metal and I was able to observe the Megaloceros that had escaped from me the other day. And I woke up shooting terror bears and scorpions that ended up wrecking the machine. And that's my 24 hours playing Ark Survival in virtual reality. Love you all guys, hope you enjoyed the video.